Welcome back. I am continuing on with this video series. I did restart my tool set and I even managed to get myself a drink, so if you hear my drink sloshing around and me slurping it up, you'll have to bear with me. So we'll continue right along. We're pulling over our plan here again. We've got our 2 posts, waypoints down. We're going to need some spawners for our skeletons next. The skeletons are going to be a little tricky because we need to summon them in at different intervals, a few seconds apart, so that'll be a little bit of work. So let's get to work at placing those spawners down and move on from there. So we're just going to need some waypoints, and I'm just grabbing a waypoint. Now what I'm going to do here, I'm just going to do a little trick. I'm just grabbing this first skeleton waypoint, and we'll configure him with his skeleton. So we'll edit him, throw in our skeleton, he will be a trigger spawn as well, because we don't want them spawning at the beginning of the fight. They're to come in at a particular point. And we'll finish. That's really all it is. And of course apply the AI, Legends AI to the skeleton. Yes, we do. And there we have it. We have Mr. Skeleton's spawn point number 1, who will only be fired at a particular point. What I'm going to do, and the trick that I'm going to do, is I'm actually going to grab his tag. So I'm grabbing his tag, and I'm going to record it. Actually, I'm probably going to modify it. And this is going to be skeleton 1. And that's his waypoint tag. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add an _1 to the end of it. And I'm just going to modify it because this tag here gets auto-generated by the Legend Spawn plugin to keep them unique when they need to be. In this particular case, we're going to have to be calling these individual spawn points at different intervals, so we're going to need to know them all, and they're all going to have to be unique. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to label them from 1 to 8, kind of like that. And that way I'm going to be able to control what I want them to be when I want to fire them. So I'm just going to add a _1 to that. Now, the spawn plugin doesn't really care if the waypoint have the same tag or not. It's only important when you need to reference the spawn point, say in like a quest, or when you're using a special effect and you need to activate it for an event. That's really the only time you really need them to be unique. Other than that, if I wanted 8 standard skeletons in here, I could just lay the same waypoints down, and this will actually just spawn a bunch of skeletons for me. I don't need to do anything special. I don't need to make them unique or anything like that. But because we have to spawn these based off a certain time and a certain event, we will need to make them unique. So I'm just gonna basically copy this guy around and put them in position over these bone piles. That'll be number 2. And we're going to copy this guy over here to be number 3. And I'm going to copy it again and put it over here as number 4. And they wanted 8, so I'm going to assume that we're going to spawn them in like a kind of a circular fashion, with one here, then the second one here, third one there, fourth one there, and then around again a second time. So that means I'm going to need another one kind of right there. I'm going to need another one, number 5, actually number 6. I'll just lay number 6 right here. Number 7 for our 7th skeleton. I'm just going to put it right there. And then number 8 we'll put right here, like so. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to bring this over so you can see what I'm doing. And like I said, number 1 waypoint is just going to end in _1. And what I'm going to do with each other one, actually I'm not going to label him 2 because I want them to spawn in a circular fashion. I'm going to call him 2. So I'm changing the tag of him. And I'm going to change the tag of this one to 3. And I'm going to change the tag of this one to be 4. And then I'm going to go around to the second waypoint of each group. And I'm going to call him 5. And the other waypoint of this side is going to be 6. The other waypoint is going to be 7. And last one is going to be 8. So that gets our 8 unique skeleton spawn points. And we've recorded those in our doc right here. Okay, that's going to be good to know. We also need our vampire spawn point tag, so let's grab her spawn point tag. And we're going to want that recorded. And we're going to want, so the skeletons. And we're just going to, actually, I'm just going to clean this up a little bit. From 1 to 8, the darkness helper. So we're going to need darkness helpers for when we cast our darkness spell. We have to tell it where we actually want it to appear. And we're going to want to grab the vampires tag, which I believe, let me just double check here, is just vamp. So that's easy. And we're going to need some darkness. That's where we're going to do our AoE location. So I'm going to grab, I'm just going to go to placeable so you know what I'm grabbing here. Under Legends Quest, under Special Effects, you've got the SE Object Helper. We're going to throw one of these down right here. This is going to be the center of the room one. So based off of our plan, our vampire is going to come to this post. She's going to cast a little bit of a magic spell, and she's going to cause this area to go dark. The problem is that the area of effect for darkness is actually only a few meters around. So we're going to step that up and actually make it apply in several locations. So we're going to make it apply here and here and here. And we're going to have one probably have one here and here. All these areas are going to go dark, and they're all going to have damage, area of effect damage as well. So that if you are anywhere near any of these, how many we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Anywhere near these 8, and the center one, of course, 9 SE object helpers, you're going to take damage. So really the only safe place, well, of course, I guess you could just leave the whole room, but if you're going to stay in the fight, you have to be near some of this light to be able to not take damage. So we're going to give these a unique tag. So let's get rid of our blueprint and bring over our properties. And we're going to call this one Dark Center. And we'll start with this one. We'll just call this one Dark 1. And Dark 2. I probably should have put this on before I copied them. Would have made it a little easier, but oh well. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now that's going to create a ton of work for us, but we'll get the effect we want. So let's get rid of this. Okay, plan says the darkness tags are going to be dark center and dark 1 to 8. Alright, so we have all of that. That's good. Now we got to kind of figure out what we're going to have to actually do for flags based off of our little plan here. So let's look at our plan. We don't really need anything here for a flag. Actually, yes we do, because we need a vampire spawns. And just to double check, I just want to make sure that I put her spawn point on trigger. So I'm just going to confirm that because I don't remember. Yes, I did. It's triggered. So what we'll do is we'll say flag 1 is the one that's going to start the fight. So flag 1 is at 0 seconds immediately is going to be triggered by a player entering room. That's the trigger. And the effect is going to be spawn vampire. What else is she going to do? She's going to laugh, say some words, and fight. So laugh sound, one-line message, and fight. So she'll auto-fight because we'll have her hostile to begin with. So that's what happens on flag 1 at time 0. So that one's going to be easy. Okay, and what else we got? We got she's going to fight stop. Okay, so when she's near death, that'll be another flag. So at flag 2, soon as she gets near death, we're going to, so the effect is going to be vampire reduced to near death. And the effect is going to be remove her hostility. And it's going to be set her plot flag on, because we don't want players to keep beating her down or re-attempting to re-engage. We're going to want a sound effect of laugh, and I actually read the request earlier about the sound effects that this builder wanted, and I actually dug in and looked for a couple of sounds that might work, so I've already got those recorded. We're going to do the speak one-liner. No, actually, that's not what we want to do at all, is it? Yeah, sorry, we've already got the laugh. See, I'm confusing myself. On this one, oh, it's different. It's a grunting sound effect, sorry. Sound effect of grunt, not front, grunt. And another speak one-liner. Yep, another speak one-liner. And that's when we want her to go to the throne, because she's going to be standing back. So change her AI profile. So change AI to go to throne. After that, that's when we're going to start spawning these skeletons. Okay, and then she's going to be over there healing up. So we'll put in a couple of little effects for that too. So when do we want all this to happen? After we remove the hostility and set our plot flag on, we're going to give her a second to do the sound effect and the one-liner, because the player is just going to just finish fighting and they're going to kind of like, what's going on? Give it a second before that happens. Change the AI to go to the throne. We'll give her a few seconds to get to the throne before we start spawning skeletons. So we'll basically say at second 4 we're going to spawn, we'll activate skeleton 1, and at 4.5 we will fire skeleton 1 spawner. Now here's where it gets painful. Skeleton 2, skeleton 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So 2, 2, 3, 3, 3, 3. And you know what? I do this for all of my boss encounters because it really helps. And did I do something wrong? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I just counted them wrong. I do this for all of them just to make sure I get the plan down, and I highly recommend you do this because it's worth it when you're trying to troubleshoot and figure out what's going on. Now, we said we were going to spawn these every 5 seconds, so that means that the second one, we're going to activate him at 9 seconds and have his spawn fire at 9.5. The next one is going to be 14 seconds and 14.5. The next one's going to be 19 and 19.5. The next one's going to be 5 seconds after that, so that's 24 and 24.5, and 29 and 29.5, 34, 34.5, 39 and 39.5, 44 and 44.5. So about 45 seconds into this fight is what it's going to take to get all the skeletons spawned. Hopefully, the poor player is not going to be swarmed by skeletons, and he's actually killing. But by the time the 8th one is spawned, he's got the first couple dead. Otherwise, he's going to be he's probably not going to survive 8 skeletons swarming around him. Okay, so once that's done, we also need, have I got that? Skeleton 1 at 4, skeleton 2, 3. Oh, there's my problem. I thought I did that wrong. I've got 2 skeleton 3s in there. So I was just doing the math in my head and it didn't seem right. I've got too many. There we go. And then what we'll do is we'll deactivate all our spawn points because, and I wasn't sure about this, but my guess is that after these 8 skeletons spawn, he doesn't want them to keep spawning, so we need to deactivate all skeletons. We'll do that 45 seconds in. That gives them all time to spawn, and it's within 1 minute, so they won't spawn a second time. Meanwhile, our vampire is going to be sitting over there back healing. So what we should do is we should just throw some special effects in here for that too. So 10 seconds in to this, we're going to have her cast some fake healing. Now she's already going to be healed because that's the nature of what happens when you make her non-hostile. She goes back to wherever you told her to go, and she heals up by default. So you don't actually have to perform a heal. So we'll do this 3 times. 1 at 10, 1 at 20, and 1 at 30 seconds. So that kind of just gives you the effect that she's just not standing around doing nothing. And then we get to stage 3 where she's full health and she's going to jump back into the fight. So what we'll do, that's easy enough. We'll just say a minute after all this happens, she's going to set her plot flag off because we turned it on and go hostile again. There. And this is all in flag 2. So pretty big flag event there. Alright, so that takes care of that. That gets us to stage 3. She's back in the fight again. Now, when she reaches near death again, the fight's going to stop again, and she's going to do something different. She's going to scream some stuff and say some more words. So we'll mark that down as flag 3. And in flag 3, I'm just going to make this a little bigger so I can see more. Flag 3, what are we going to do? We're going to stop the fight. So flag 3 is stop hostilities again. So near death number 2. And that's at flag 3. We're going to stop, remove hostile. Stop the fight again. Hostility. And we're going to set our plot flag again because we don't want them to re-engage. Set plot flag on. And same thing as before. Actually, you know what? I could probably just copy this because it seems to be... Let's do a sound effect and a one-liner. And we're going to want to... What's she going to do? She's going to do the invisibility trick. So yeah, we said that we wanted her to go to the center of the room. So we're going to turn on her third AI profile. So change AI to go to center of room. And you know what? We're going to actually take it one step further, and we're going to make her run there. So change AI to run. So we're going to make her run to the center of the room if she's not nearby there. And once she's there, we can start her in on her darkness thing. So this is where we do we are going to have to do a bunch more work. So what we have here is we're going to have turn the room dark with an AoE damage to anybody who's in the area of effect for the darkness. So after she gets to, we're going to say that it's going to take her up to 10 seconds to get to the center of the room before she does anything. So we'll just let that happen. Once she gets there, we'll get her to cast a fake spell of darkness. Now, I'm not going to get her to cast a real one because we have to do it in the whole room. It's not just that one little square. So we'll get her to do a fake one, and then we'll have the special effects system actually perform the visuals and everything for it. So 10 seconds after she gets to the near death 2, she's going to get to the center of the room, and she should be there after 10 seconds, and she's going to cast her darkness spell. We'll give her 5 seconds to animate that. So at 15 seconds, we're going to create a darkness effect at, what was the location we said? At dark center. And we're going to have that for 30 seconds with a 2-second damage. So every 2 seconds you're going to take some damage if you're in this one. So here's where we have to do a bunch of work. We have to do this for all 8 of these. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. And on top of that, at 15 seconds as well, we have to create an AoE damage. AoE damage. And actually, this is not where the damage is. I made a mistake. This is not where the damage happens. This is just the visual effect. So AoE damage at dark center for 30 seconds with a 2-second damage. Okay, so pull that out. And we're going to have to do that for each one. And it's going to have a, probably like a 7-meter radius. 7-meter radius. And we're going to need to do that for dark one. Oh, I wasn't counting them. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. One more. 8. So this is what I was talking about, but this is going to be a bit of work, but definitely doable, and we'll get the effect we want. So, what else are we going to need? Let's look up here. So we do the AoE, and right after she does that, he wants her to go invisible. So the best way that I think to make her invisible for the whole duration and not have like someone's true seeing or something screw something up or see invisibility is at 16 seconds. We're just going to set vamp hidden. That way they won't see her no matter what they try. Then after a certain amount of time, so we said 30 seconds, after that she's going to, after some time, darkness goes away, which it will, 30 seconds, and the vampire comes back. Okay. So remember that we're setting this darkness to be 30-second duration, but we don't start it till it's 15 seconds in. Because remember, flag 3 is set when she goes near death. And during that time, we want to change her AI, give her 10 seconds to, move over to the right location, another 5 seconds to actually cast the spell, so 15 seconds before we even start the darkness. That means that a total of 45 seconds would go by before the darkness disappears. So what we're going to do there is 45-second delay. We're going to set vamp not hidden. We're going to unhide her. As soon as the darkness goes away, she reappears. And when she comes back, and I'm just going to give her an extra second, when she gets back, she's not going to be happy. We're going to set her plot off, because we always set her plot when we pause a fight. And this time we're going to set an immortal flag off, because this is the last phase. Now, just as a note, because I don't think I commented on this, when I created this vampire, I did set her immortal flag on. And what that does is that prevents players from killing her when we need to do the near-death events. So her immortal flag is on. But at this point, she's ready to get killed, so we need to turn that off. So her immortal flag is on in her blueprint. We're going to turn it off at this stage of the fight. And then, of course, the last thing we want is go hostile, because she's not. Last thing, when she dies, a burning effect will happen on top of her. So that's going to be another event, flag 4. Right away, flag 4 is going to be, and the trigger for flag 4 is going to be when vamp dies. When she dies, fire visual effect on corpse for 10 seconds. There. All right. That, I think, should do it. That's our plan. Yes. So we've got our boss plan. Now, what I do for my persistent world and all my boss encounters, I actually have one of these plans like this for every single special effect event, whether it's a boss fight, whether it's a combination lock, everything. And what I highly recommend people do is they do these. They create these and save them. Save them so you can reference them. If someone reports a bug in your boss fight, you can always come back here and look back at what it was supposed to do and then check and see where you might have made a mistake. But it's always valuable to have a plan like this for every boss encounter. Now, if you only have like a simple where you're just like throwing a cutscene in to say, oh, look, here's a boss or here's a mini boss or something, I don't really record those. But anything where there's like multiple flags and multiple events going on like this, I would definitely save my plan. So it looks like we're only going to use 4 flags for this whole area, which is not bad considering we've got 31 available to us. But I do see a lot of reactions in here, so there's going to be a bit of work on this for the reactions part. But we'll get back to that. The next step, what we're going to do is we're going to set up the and I'm going to pause the video here to move into the next one. We're going to set up the faction for neutrality, because you need a neutral faction when you're removing hostility on these guys, and you don't want to change. You don't want to change your bad guys to be like commoner or anything. You want them to actually sit on a neutral faction, which we'll show you how to do next. And then after that, we're going to set up the triggers to set these flags. And after the triggers for the flags, we'll do the reactions. And once that's done, we're finished. So check us back in the next video.